Welcome back to the Bill and Doug Show. Happy Thanksgiving. Doug Lamreese and Bill Landis with National College Football Picks. We're recording here on Thanksgiving morning, Landis, because we got to give the people what we think about the Egg Bowl.
Of course, yeah. And we got a large slate here because I think you're just going to go opposite me on every game and try to catch me.
So we normally pick 6 national games here on our National College Pick shows. We're picking 13 today because I am 10 behind you, Bill. You are 49 and 42 against the spread for the year. I am 39 and 52 against the spread for the year. So you are 10 ahead of me. And I said, you really kicked my butt last week. And you were like, what? I was only 4 and 3. And I said, yeah, I was 1 and 6. So my solution in desperation is to double the number of games that we're going to talk about. And also, I didn't really think this week. I actually have not made my picks yet. And thinking has gotten me nowhere. And so we're just going to rip through and I'm going all on vibes. But also the hard thing for me, Bill, is that you know this. There are just some things that I dislike, some things that I don't want to happen. And I do let that influence me because I don't want to be watching a game and thinking, boy, my pick is going to be right. But this result also means that the SEC is going to get 6 in the playoff, right?
Sure.
So I pick for my interests sometime. And usually my interests are for the SEC to burn to the ground, and then their good teams win.
That is evident, but I try to not do that. But I did that this week. Like I'm putting my money where my mouth is a little bit with some of the predictions that I made on our playoff show about some SEC results. So I'm picking those SEC results.
Okay. So I'm not only going to go by, well, Bill said this, so I'm going to go opposite this to try to catch you, but I'm going to let the vibes of the moment help influence my picks. Again, we are doing 13 games, and let's see. I think 4 of them are on Friday. 1, 2, 3, maybe 3?
No.
4?
4. Iowa-Nebraska, Egg Bowl, Georgia Tech, and Texas-Texas A&M are all on Friday.
Okay, so we will start there. And is it not like a really good Friday slate of games for the folks who want to sit down and watch college football?
It's awesome. Yeah, and it's I'm trying to pull up the TV schedule because it's spread out quite nice. You got Iowa-Nebraska at noon. You get the Egg Bowl at noon. You have Georgia Tech at 3:30. You have actually like a very good Mountain West game between San Diego State and New Mexico, also at 3:30. Bucket game, Indiana-Purdue is at 7:30, as is Texas A&M. And then at 9, another like pretty good game, Arizona State. So it's a heck of a slate. And there's an NFL game on Friday. The Eagles play the Bears, in case anybody cares.
Oh yeah. So all right, let's start with one of our Big Ten games. Let's start with Iowa and Nebraska. This is a new rivalry brought to you by Nebraska joining the Big Ten. It's at noon. It's at Nebraska. Both teams are 7-4. Iowa has won 9 of 10 in this series, 9 of the last 10. And since joining the Big Ten, it's 10-4 in favor of Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in Lincoln. The last time Nebraska beat Iowa in Lincoln was their first year in the Big Ten in 2011. So like for Nebraska to try to get a home win against the Hawkeyes would be a big deal. And the stuff that people are kind of wondering about at the moment is whether Dylan Raiola is going to be a Cornhusker next year or not, which is kind of a weird thing to be talking about going in the last game of the year, but it's on people's minds, is it not?
It is. Yeah, it is. It seems like it's got to be Miami. Miami stirring stuff up, trying to figure out who the quarterback is going to be next year. Because there was who's the guy that works for ESPN? Kevin Clark, is that his name? Who's the Miami grad? I like him talking about the NFL, not so much the college football. But I think he said like Miami's getting ready to spend on a quarterback. My reaction was like, well, that they've always done that, and it's like done nothing for them. So good luck to Miami. But yeah, Dylan Raiola, Sam Leavitt. I think there were the 2 big ones that are like kind of getting bandied about right now. But I don't know. Nebraska at least seemed like Nebraska had a good thing going with TJ Lateef, and then they ran into Penn State last week and it didn't go as well.
Yeah, and it feels like this running into Iowa and this Iowa defense and what Iowa does could be like running in to Penn State. I was at this game last year on Black Friday in Iowa City. Nebraska had a lead, and then Dylan Raiola had a loose turnover at the end, and Iowa kicked a game-winning field goal on the last play of the game, and I was standing behind Herbie the Cornhusker at the end, and he was the saddest little blow-up mascot you ever did see. Um, I could see Dylan Raiola and Nebraska breaking up. I think they've been fine together. Dylan Raiola is 13-9 as a starter, but like it's been good. I don't know that anybody would have regrets about the relationship, but also I could maybe see that it's run its course because Nebraska for 2 years has been like, oh, they made a bowl last year. That was good. Yeah, that was good. And then this year is like, oh, people maybe think they'll be at the edge of the playoff conversation. And now here they are, they're 7-4. And if he didn't get hurt, maybe they'd be a little better. But like, they're not terrible, but they're also they're up half a level from where they were. And the level that they were at is we can't even make a bowl. But they haven't made like the big Matt Rule leap. And I think maybe the leap that 5-star Dylan Raiola, who moved around the country and committed to 2 different schools before he wound up at Nebraska, maybe thought he wanted to be at. And so I actually just all on vibes and totally from the outside would bet Dylan Raiola is not at Nebraska next season.
Yeah, I would too. But I do think it was, I think they would have beaten USC had he not gotten hurt in that game. And then very well could have won on the road last week at Penn State if they had him available. And all of a sudden they're 9-2, right? And we're having this conversation about can Nebraska beat Iowa and put itself in the playoff, like on the periphery of the playoff conversation, right? So they're not that far off, I guess, from where they want it to be. And there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for why they're not. Their starting quarterback broke his leg. But I would probably side with you. It just does feel like maybe it's kind of run its course a little bit. And I don't know Matt Rule, never covered him. My sort of what I do know of him is like, I don't know that he'd put up with like the whatever shenanigans of a quarterback, like dipping his toe in the portal, trying to get more money kind of thing. I think maybe they just move on and either try to build it around Latif or just go into the portal and find somebody else. It's not like Dylan Raiola is an exciting young quarterback, I suppose. It's not like he's blowing people's doors off with the way he's played the last 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Good. Like got better this year, but didn't go crazy this year. So like, yeah, I think it just has been fine, but it hasn't been great. Nebraska is getting 5.5 at home. This line opened at 6.5 that we saw. Nebraska plus 6.5. It's down to plus 5.5. What do you have here?
Totals 38.5, baby. Let's go.
Oh my.
We have a couple sub 40 totals in the games we're picking. 2 teams want to run it a lot. Emmett Johnson's a great running back, one of the better running backs in the country, potential All-American in my opinion. So low possession, low scoring game. The one thing I did realize in looking back through the history of this game is that the average margin of victory in the last 8 games has been 4.5 points.
Ooh.
So I will take the 5.5 with Nebraska. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover 17-13 Iowa.
Ooh, I'm in that range. I gotta be. I'm just gonna make my picks. I'm not gonna try to be opposite you, but I agree with all of that thinking. Low scoring. Take the points with Nebraska, but Iowa wins, and I think I'll take another game-winning field goal. I have 23-20 Iowa. All right, Egg Bowl. This is also at noon. This is a long-held traditional rivalry. And do you think Lane Kiffin will quit at halftime?
What if he quits before the game? Like they flip the coin, decide who's getting the kickoff first, and then he just walks up the tunnel.
Yeah,
and he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, the laneway and the 122nd Egg Bowl. This is obviously a traditional historic rivalry. Ole Miss has won 4 of the last 5, including the last 2. All the talk is around Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss is on track to make the playoff. I think Ole Miss is on track to make the playoff, right? Like they probably are they going to make it even if they lose? Maybe, yes.
I think there's a series. I think there's a series of events that could knock them out if they lost, but more than likely they're in.
And if they win and get some help, there's a chance they could play in the SEC championship game. I agree kind of with both the things around Lane Kiffin, which is like, this is screwy. The calendar is weird that this spot exists where you might have to shop for jobs and think about leaving for a job while the season is still going on is a failure of college football. And they've got to figure this out. But also the nauseating industrial complex of coaches defending coaches and turning coaches into victims, and the stuff that Nick Saban says about Lane Kiffin and it's not his fault and all this stuff. Eric Morris, who's the head coach of North Texas, which might make the playoff, just accepted the Oklahoma State job, and there was no brouhaha about it, and he's going to stay with North Texas and finish the season, and that's going to be it. It was like, oh, okay. But also, I swear I saw a thing online that someone said they were playing Fortnite with Lane Kiffin's kid, and the kid said they're going to LSU. So, my guess is that Lane Kiffin is the head coach at LSU next year. Do you think that's the case? What's your guess? What's going to happen?
Yeah, my guess is LSU as well. Did you see On3 did a thing where they like polled national media members to ask them where they think Lane Kiffin's going to coach last year? Brett McMurphy got like 80 people to give their input. But the one thing that did stick out to me is like trying to think like, okay, whose opinion in this do I value the most? Chris Lowe, formerly of ESPN, now at On3, very plugged in the SEC, and I think it's like written profiles of Lane Kiffin this year, predicted that he will be at Ole Miss next year. So
really,
yeah. So I don't know what to make of it. I guess I would say somebody else picked the Tennessee Titans too, which I thought was funny. My guess is either LSU or Ole Miss. I don't think he's going to Florida, but I'll say LSU.
Okay. Do you think it affects the game at all? That this is a distraction for Ole Miss? All right.
I absolutely think it affects the game.
Okay. All right.
I guess there's a history here that like actually like when Ole Miss is good and Mississippi State is not, Ole Miss usually wins. And Mississippi State actually is not awful. They have been awful. They're kind of building toward something, I think.
Yeah.
They've played some tight games with a couple of SEC teams.
5 and 6.
I'm gonna pick Mississippi State. 28-24. At the very least, I'm taking the points, but I'll pick the upset.
Okay. Like I want this, but I don't think Ole Miss is that good, but I think they might be good enough to just like do this. So I'm gonna pick Ole Miss 30-20.
Did we say the spread 7.5?
7.5. At Mississippi State, 7.5 point spread, which again, one of these things of like, hey, Ole Miss is definitely in the playoff and Mississippi State's fighting to get into a bowl game and the spread's a touchdown. It's like, okay, is it because the SEC is so good or because the SEC is so mid? And you know what we think here on this show. Another one that is Friday is Georgia Tech. This is at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. It's a Georgia Tech home game, but they sold it for $10 million to go play in the Dome down the street from campus. It's a 13.5 point spread. I don't think Georgia Tech's going to make the playoff, but like they still only have 2 losses. This is number 4 versus number 23. But Georgia Tech is behind 6 3-loss teams, so they kind of screwed it up, losing to Pitt last week. This is a clean old-fashioned hate. Georgia has won 20 of the last 23. It's the 119th meeting overall. Last year, this game went to 8 overtimes before Georgia won. And all season, I have been thinking Georgia Tech is going to win this game. I made a $2 bet at 6-1 for Georgia to make the playoff in the Georgia Tech to make the playoff in the preseason. I picked Georgia Tech in the preseason to make the playoff. I've been riding Georgia Tech. I've been wanting that to happen. I just kind of like the cut of Georgia Tech's jib. But I've also been thinking it would happen, and then their horrible defense murdered them against Pitt. They are ranked 94th defensively in the FEI ratings, but Georgia's defense is 24th, which is tied for the worst of the Kirby Smart era. Like, this is normally a top 10, top 5 defense. It's not that. Georgia actually has the number 2 offense in the FEI ratings. This is back to like your quarterback's kind of saving you here. Georgia Tech is 26th in offensive rating. This is 2 guys who are playmaking kind of talented dudes at quarterback, and Gunnar Stockton at Georgia and Haynes King at Georgia Tech. Yeah, I think I could see this being very high scoring. I think Georgia Tech can hang, but given how bad their defense has been and how they got down 28-0 against Pitt last week, it is hard for me to actually think now that we're here that they're actually going to win. Do you think there's much of case for Georgia Tech actually winning this.
No, not really. Just again with you, just to sort of how bad the defense has been. I love Haynes King. We talked about Haynes King as a Heisman guy before that Pitt game, and then didn't get it done, obviously. So it kind of feels like Georgia is surging a little bit and figuring itself out, and that's actually like quite interesting for the national title race because they are kind of emerging for me as a team that I view quite dangerous in that conversation now. So I just kind of think they got it rolling, and Georgia Tech is sputtering, and I don't know if that's just because they don't have roster depth or because like Brent Key has his eye elsewhere or what, but it's kind of gotten away from him the last couple of weeks. So I don't think Tech has much of a chance here.
Georgia 10-1, number 4. Georgia Tech 9-2, number 23. It's at 3:30. There's a 13.5 point spread. I will definitely take Georgia Tech with the points, given what I think their offense can do against a Georgia defense that is fine but not great. And I will be there in my heart and accept the loss in my heart, but the most I can do is take Georgia Tech with the points. I'll say 33-28 Georgia.
38-20 Georgia. So we're actually not that different, but I have Georgia covering.
Okay. We'll see some points in that game. Last one on Friday that we're going to pick is Texas at Texas A&M. This is number 16 Texas at number 3 Texas A&M. It's the 120th meeting. Texas has won 10 of the last 13. Texas won 17-7 last year. Texas A&M is a 2.5 point favorite at home at 7:30. So this is basically a toss-up game between the only undefeated team in the SEC and like the team whose kind of weird, disappointing season has helped define college football this year. Texas A&M has 4 one-score wins, and it kind of feels like they've been waiting to get got. Is Texas the team that's going to get them?
I think so. We'll see. Texas A&M gets to play a team that actually has a winning record in the SEC now. Let's see what happens. I think Texas can win this game. I think Arch has been playing better. Like last 4 games, I think has been playing like quite well. I sorted it from week 9, which gives you Texas's last 4 games by PFF offensive grade. Arch is 8th in the Power 4. Oh. Actually, he's better than that because there's a guy in here. He's 7th because one of the quarterbacks is Kenny Minchie, who's on the starter. He's 7th, which is like everyone thought he'd be 1st, but for a while he was like 60th. So now he's in the top 10. I think he's maybe turning the corner a little bit. And I don't like. I think Texas A&M is good. We've said Tech all year long. We sort of believe in A&M, but it is a fact that they've played a pretty easy SEC schedule. And this is a notch up from what they've seen. And in playing an easy SEC schedule, they've still had some scares. So this game at Texas, I can and do think Texas is going to win.
And then it's tough sledding. We've talked about the idea of could a 3-loss Texas team with a loss to Georgia, with a loss to Ohio State. If those teams like wind up being conference champions, for instance, they still have that goofy loss to Florida, but Texas is 16th right now. They are the highest ranked 3-loss team. If they beat the undefeated number 3 team in the country, do you think they are in the conversation to actually make the playoff, perhaps leaping past teams like 2-loss Vanderbilt, who might lose to Tennessee, 2-loss Utah? Could they jump past Miami? Could they jump past BYU if BYU loses the Big 12 title game? Like, do you think it could be that good for Texas if they get this done?
Yeah, I think it could be. Notre Dame be an interesting conversation, right? Notre Dame lost to A&M. So
yeah, that's
I do think it would be propulsive for sure. I'm nowhere near absolutely they're in at 9-3 with this win, but again, I don't think a ton has to happen to get them in there. They still would need some help, obviously. Texas too, while we're talking about Arch and whatever, Texas's defense has kind of slipped a lot the last month. We thought this was maybe one of the best defenses in the country. The scores of its games: 45-38 against Mississippi State, 34-31 against Vanderbilt, gave up 35 in a loss to Georgia, and then 52-37 against Arkansas. Arkansas had 512 yards of offense. Mississippi State had 445. Like I don't know if it's because the defense had to carry the team for practically the entire season and they're worn down or what, but their defense is not nearly as good as it looked early in the year.
Okay. So you would have picked Texas to win. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, Texas 24-21.
Okay. I'll take A&M 27-24. So we're on opposite sides of the spread there too. I'll give the 2.5 with A&M. But I think it's a good game. I'm going to watch it. You going to watch that game?
I'll be locked in. Yeah.
No. All right, let's get to Saturday, and there's a bunch of good stuff on Saturday. We'll start with a noon game. It's number 12 Miami at number 22 Pitt. Pitt at home is getting 6.5. There's a lot of home dogs that we're picking here. I think 9 of the 13 games that we're picking, the home team is the underdog. Miami was in this spot last year. They're 9-2 now. Last year, Miami was 10-1, and the number 6 team in the country, and went north in the ACC on the last weekend of the regular season. They went to Syracuse. It was indoors at least last time, and they lost to Syracuse 42-38. Syracuse was 8-3. Pitt is 8-3, and that knocked Miami out of the ACC championship game, and it knocked Miami out of the playoff. And they are not in at the moment, but they think they should be in, and a lot of people are wound up that they think they should be in. And I just think in the service of college football, what Miami can do to help everybody is just go put a turd in that old Thanksgiving punch bowl and lose at Pitt and end this conversation. Pitt is rolling. Pitt is not guaranteed a spot in the ACC championship game, but if Pitt wins and then either Virginia or SMU loses, Pitt will be in the ACC championship game. And I think that is what is going to happen. I am not mad at Miami. I am mad at the conversation about Miami. And it has been weird that this team that people mostly, I think, looks at and says, man, they're super talented, but they get in their own way, right? Somehow has become this rallying cry of how dare the world be unfair to the poor little Miami Hurricanes. And it is driving me absolutely bonkers. So just go get dogged, and then everybody can go about their business on Black Friday or on Black Saturday and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be cold in Pittsburgh. Real feel in the 30s for this game. I don't think those Miami players are ready for it. And I believe I have this right. I did rough math on my notepad, but Mario Cristobal, 8-8 outside of the state of Florida since he went to Miami. Not great.
Are you like for real? Everybody, you're just like you're rallying around Mario Cristobal. What are we doing?
He's up in that good overall. His winning percentage is like 65%.
Yeah.
He's not killing it there.
do right by Mario Cristobal. How can we live in a world where a team that lost to Louisville doesn't make the playoff? It's not right.
I'm picking Pitt as well. I got 31-28.
I got 28-21. All right. We're both riding with Pitt. They're a 6.5 point dog. That's a nice number. Get that 6.5 points at home with the team that played well last week. And then like played well, got up huge on Georgia Tech, but then also kind of got a little lucky / made some plays to make sure that they weren't on the wrong end of a miraculous Georgia Tech comeback. But like they're rolling a little bit. And I will say, like, I follow on social media enough Pitt people and West Virginia people that like this is a fun, exciting season for 8-3 Pitt. And they also lost to West Virginia, who has not had a great year. And all the West Virginia people are like, yeah, but you lost to us. And it is like it's like, well, good for you, Pitt. You're having a great year, but also like good for you, West Virginia. You're sticking it right up Pitt's took us by reminding them that one of their 3 losses is to the mighty Mountaineers. So everybody can have a good time with this one. All right, let's go to many of the 3:30 games on Saturday. We'll go to number 6 Oregon at Washington. Washington at home, one of these other home dogs, also getting 6.5. This is the 118th meeting. Washington had won 3 straight before Oregon won last year, 49-21. A lot of injury stuff here, Landis. Washington has said that great running back Jonah Coleman, great receiver Denzel Boston, who were hurt 2 weeks ago at Wisconsin. They both kind of played like in tiny little roles last week against UCLA, but Jed Fish says they should play more. I don't know if it's all the way fully normal, but Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston seemingly are on track to at least play some sort of important role in this game. Meanwhile, Dan Lanning, like Ryan Day at Ohio State, is kind of just not talking about stuff. But in addition to their receiver injuries, their center got hurt last week. Their left tackle didn't play very much last week. Their right tackle had been hurt before, but now he's back. There's a lot going on with Oregon, and I don't know if it reaches a breaking point or not, but they've been, to their credit, surviving. But they have, like with Ohio State survived offensive line injuries last year, and Ohio State's trying to survive receiver injuries this year. Oregon is trying to survive offensive line and receiver injuries right now.
Yeah. And Washington at home, I think, is good enough to maybe take advantage of that, right? Just very like a very different team at home. Even DeMond Williams, like his passing numbers at home, like 11 yards per attempt, 10 touchdowns, no picks, and like the yards per attempt drops by like 3 when he's on the road, and he's throwing interceptions on the road. Like a very, very different player. So I think Washington could get it done here. There's just been a resiliency with Oregon through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little difficult for me to kind of bet against, but they have been kind of holding it together a little bit with duct tape and glue while beating pretty good teams. So I don't think I'd be terribly surprised if it kind of unraveled for them a little bit in this game, and perhaps that they even lost. But I'm going to pick them to win still, because I believe in what they got going there.
And also, Washington has not been great against the best defenses it has played. Right? That it is.
Yeah.
They really had issues at home against Ohio State. It's probably the best defense in the country, and they had issues at Michigan, which also is an excellent, very good defense. And Oregon's in that category, right? I don't think Oregon's defense is in the Ohio State category, but I think it's in the Michigan category of like probably that second tier of very good defenses. And so to anticipate that Washington will do what it's done in its wins, I don't know that I necessarily anticipate that. And again, it's like, I don't want to be tricked by if Washington had beaten Wisconsin and was sitting here at 9-2 instead of 8-3, right? And it was like, oh, if they beat Oregon, are they going to make the playoff? That was just like a weird, goofy loss at Wisconsin on the road. Washington's not good on the road. I'm not sure it's indicative of who Washington is. But the thing that I think is true is the good defense thing. And I do think as much as injured as Oregon is on offense, I think their defense can stand up enough to get this win for them. I'll take Oregon 28-21.
We have like the same score, 28-20. I have Oregon winning.
Okay. And so we think Oregon will cover that 6.5. So, but I think a good game. And this might be like DeMond Williams Jr. with the ball in his hand at home in the final 5 minutes. We're trying to like put together a game tying drive, right? So
yeah, Dan Lanning, by the way, did we say he's 1-3 against Washington with one of those losses going in the Pac-12 title game?
But got it done last year, so I don't know if that was like. So that was a little bit of he got Michael Penix and Kalen DeBoer a little bit there. So like I don't, but I do think I thought Washington would be good this year. And they are good. They're not great.
Yeah.
They're good. They're not great. They might be great soon if Jed Fish stays and they continue on this track. But they're not like big game, okay, here's your moment. I don't know that they're there, and I don't know that they show it for the first time in the Fish era like right now. Against, as you said, a very resilient Oregon team. All right, let's do another 3:30 game. This is Penn State at Rutgers. Rutgers at home getting 13.5. They are both 5-6, so the winner will qualify for a bowl. And then I don't know, sometimes if you're 5-7, but you have good grades, sometimes you can sneak into a bowl. So like good luck to all these guys. Maybe they'll all wind up going bowling. We can talk about the game, but I also mostly want to talk about the fact that it seems like everybody thinks the secret candidate at Penn State is Kalen DeBoer.
Oh, really? Because I thought because I've also seen that it's a name that hasn't been associated with it, and Kalen DeBoer's name has. I've been like looking at the list of P4 head coaches, thinking like, okay, whose name have I not heard at all for this job? And I also like whatever people are. I don't know who knows what, right? Like I know like Adam Brenneman said it's a name that no one's ever heard of before. Or not heard of before, but not been tied to the job before. And then Josh Pate said like, well, I've heard the same name and I don't think it's a fit. And like, I don't I don't care, but I'm also
Yeah.
trying to like kind of like add the puzzle pieces together to try to figure out who it might be. And I haven't really come up with one. But it seems like maybe it's either whoever that mystery candidate is, or like Bob Chesney at James Madison, or Terry Smith, the current interim head coach.
I definitely read some Penn State people who I think have some idea what's going on that have continued to say DeBoer's a possibility. If Kalen DeBoer loses to Auburn, I think maybe he might be the Penn State head coach. Like that's just, so like we're not picking Auburn-Alabama yet, but like that like if it's like okay, would we already had this conversation? I don't think you can hire the interim guy, but I'll be just curious if they wind up taking like a gigantic swing. And I know like we talked about this on another show. Like, is it like a Lincoln Riley type sideways move for somebody? Like, what if it's Dabo? Right? Like, it's that kind of thing of like somebody who, oh my God, what did I just say? Why did I say that? I don't even mean that.
Universe.
Yeah. I don't think you can go by Dabo in State College. He'd have to be Dave. What's his real name? I know it's Dat Boy
Bill.
Is why they call him Bill.
I think his name's Bill, yeah.
Can you imagine that in the annals of college football? If Dabo Swinney took the Penn State job and said, Dabo's dead, Bill Swinney is the new coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. Bill Swinney?
I don't know if he goes by Bill, but yeah, his name is William. Yeah.
Do you know what his middle name is? Can you look up what his middle name is? What if he goes by that? William C. Swinney is the new head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he wears a
WC. What about WC Swinney?
W.C. Swinney.
Proprietor, yeah.
And I'm going to open a general store right on the corner there of the main drag in State College. That we have officially arrived at that. Go spread the word on that. Hey, I heard who the secret Penn State candidate is. It's W.C. Swinney. And people will be like, what?
Who the hell is that?
Yeah. Where did you hear that? You heard it on the Bill and Doug show. I don't know who's going to win this game. Probably Penn State. They have more good players, don't they?
They have more good players, and they haven't lost a record since 1988. I was more curious about this because I wasn't really going to influence my decision. After playing Penn State this year, if you exclude Grambling because it's an FCS team, teams the week after they play Ohio State are 2-6-1 against the spread.
Oh,
and 4-5 outright, and 2 of the wins are against a Group of 5 team and an FCS team. So there's a lingering effect from playing the Buckeyes.
Okay.
Does not suit teams very well. So I think Penn State will win and cover. I have 27-10.
Oh, I thought maybe you think they'd let it loose a little bit. I have 38-21 Penn State. Let everyone's offense stretch their legs a little bit. Like that Rutgers defense is terrible and their offense is okay. And send Greg Schiano out into the offseason scratching his head about what happened to his defense.
Do you think Penn State's players want to play in a bowl game?
I don't know, but like they're loving this. They're loving. I mean, like to Terry Smith's credit, he's reestablished like a heartbeat in that program, which is like we thought they were going to pack it in, and they have not. Like they were not packed in against Nebraska last week, and like they are fired up for this
against Indiana. They almost beat Indiana.
So like it's tremendous credit to Terry Smith that he has gotten these guys to at the very least play hard, and he's been working, I think, very hard as a head coach, trying to get them and the coaches to like coach smarter, play smarter, put the players in better opportunities to succeed and let them play fast. And I think Penn State maybe like early this season like coached themselves into oblivion a little bit with these two mad scientist coordinators who they had like a roster full of future NFL guys, and they were trying to have them, make 17 different reads on every play. So I think Terry Smith has done a lot of really good things. And then I don't know, like you said, if it's like the Pinstripe Bowl and just get on a bus and go to New York, and that's fun. And if not, maybe it's go somewhere warm. I think you'll get a good. We were anticipating maybe like Nebraska's going to go in there and Penn State won't care that much. And then Penn State really cared, and so like I don't know. I guess I'm back on the Penn State cares bandwagon, and I think let's go to a bowl.
I think there could be a situation, not to get too far down the road, where Penn State might like not take the bowl invite only because they have so many guys who are going to go to the NFL. They have a lot of guys who are going to go to the NFL, and then they have a new head coach. Like that could really blow a hole in your roster.
And maybe even like logistically, it's like, who's running practice?
Yeah.
Do we have a full staff? If half the staff is going to Virginia Tech, we didn't hire Terry Smith. We can't, he doesn't want to coach the bowl game. WC can't get here yet. Like, what are we going to do? That actually, logistically, you're right. That could be really difficult. So, so we're both taking Penn State to cover the 13.5. Next one, Wisconsin at Minnesota, also at 3:30. This actually, we were talking about lines, Bill. I think this line flipped because I think originally Minnesota was favored by 1.5, and now Wisconsin is favored by 1.5. So, I think that we were talking about what lines changed, and I think this was the other one I forgot to mention. I think this has flipped.
It has. You were correct.
Okay.
As we speak. Yeah.
So Minnesota at home it's basically a coin toss game. It's basically a pick 'em. It's the 135th meeting in this. This is the most played rivalry in FBS college football. It is for Paul Bunyan's axe because they used to play for a slab of bacon in the 40s and then they lost the bacon. So then they said, let's think of something that we won't lose. We won't lose an axe that belongs to a giant. Minnesota is 6-5. Wisconsin is 4-7. Wisconsin at one point had won 14 in a row in this series, but now Minnesota's won 4 of the last 7. So like Minnesota got it back under PJ Flack. They're getting their butts kicked for a while. Minnesota 4 of the last 7, including last year. And Wisconsin has shown some life here. I mean, I think it's good for Wisconsin. They said, we're not firing Luke Fickell. And I feel that galvanized Luke Fickell and the coaching staff. It galvanized the fan base. It galvanized the players. And that turned out to be, I think that's like a job well done by Wisconsin. Maybe if they win this game and then they get in the mix of 5 and 7 teams, if you're smart enough, you get into a bowl or whatever. But they salvaged the season. And especially if they would win this rivalry game to get to 5 and 7 from where they were staring down the barrel of 2 and 10 with like a really difficult schedule staring them in the face, and to like beat a team like Washington, right?
They didn't really merely salvage it. They beat Washington and Illinois. They both 2 ranked wins.
They helped knock those teams like out of playoff discussion. Like Washington would be in playoff discussions right now if it wasn't for galvanized Wisconsin. So credit to them. And then actually, I'm a little disappointed in Minnesota. I thought Minnesota had a chance to be like an 8-9 win team this year. And right now they're 6-5, and they lost to Northwestern last week. And like, they're fine, but
defense stinks. Defense stinks.
And it's like you can see what's coming with Drake Lindsay as a first-year starting quarterback, but it's not all the way there yet. And they have like a collection of kind of interesting guys, right? Because like Coy Parrish, we talk about a lot. They have Anthony Smith is a good edge guy. They always have decent skill guys, and it just kind of hasn't coalesced. I think sometimes Minnesota does more with less, and this year I think they've maybe done a little bit of less with more. So I don't know here. Wisconsin has more momentum right now for sure.
Absolutely. Far better vibes. Minnesota, it's unfortunate. I think they made an excellent defensive coordinator hire last year, Corey Heatherman. He had him for a year, and then Miami stole him. And their answer to that was to promote from within with Danny Collins, who has not done a good job. So they've just not stopped anybody the last couple of weeks. And I don't like Wisconsin's offense. It was funny. Like I think it was Darian Dupree had like 107 rushing yards for Wisconsin last week, but 84 of them were on one play. So it's like, he had an 84-yard touchdown, which is great, but it's like they're not. And I think Kevin Carter had like 85 passing yards. They're not setting the world on fire offensively. But that Wisconsin defense is pretty good. And like I said, the vibes are much better. So I'm picking Wisconsin 17-13.
17-13 Wisconsin. I'll take 27-23 Minnesota.
Another low total, 37.5.
Wow.
We're getting some classic Big Ten West totals this week.
Wow.
Including in the next game that is between SEC teams.
Oh, LSU Oklahoma is the Big Ten West total?
36.5.
Oh my God. I can only muster so much energy to talk about this game, but we have to talk about it because it does matter for the playoff. Oklahoma's 9-2. And in the playoff right now, they're the number 8 team in the country. LSU is 7-4, which is like, I don't know, what is LSU? 3-8. They fired their coach. It's like they're 7-4. It's like, okay. So they're not awful. This is a new rivalry. It's like they slammed this together when Oklahoma joined the SEC last year because Oklahoma and Texas play their big rivalry in the middle of the season, and Texas has Texas A&M, and Oklahoma should be playing Oklahoma State This should be Oklahoma State. Figure this out. Play it at the end of the year. Georgia and Georgia Tech do it. Clemson and South Carolina do it. You don't have to be in the same conference to play each other on the last weekend of the college football season and have a rivalry. Get Bedlam figured out, you ding-dongs.
Oklahoma State playing Iowa State this week.
What are we doing? 10.5. Oklahoma at home is minus 10.5. LSU is 3-1 in the series. LSU won last year. I kind of would like to see the apple cart be upset here and have LSU throw a wrinkle in. We need some chaos in here. And is LSU Michael Van Buren right at quarterback again instead of Garrett Messmeyer?
Yeah,
is LSU good enough to do it?
No, they can't score.
They can't score.
No, they won. Was it Western Kentucky last week? It was like 13-10 or something like that.
Okay. All right. So Oklahoma has a good defense, right? That's legitimate. I don't care.
Both these teams have good defenses. LSU won 13-10.
I want something screwy to happen. Can I root for something screwy to happen or no? Is that okay? I'm going to root for something screwy to happen. Give me something screwy.
That's fine. Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah. LSU's getting 10.5, 17-16 LSU. Let's get Oklahoma out of the playoff. I don't want to see Oklahoma in the playoff. No offense.
I don't want to see them in the playoff either, but they're going to get there because they're going to win. Here's my score prediction: 13-0 Oklahoma.
Oh, so you're taking some of these unders on the Philly Billy betting card.
Yes,
but you're taking LSU plus 10.5.
No, 13-0.
Oh, 13-0. Oh, right, yeah. Right. Okay. I feel good about that. All right, go Tigers. God, I can say go Tigers because Brian Kelly is gone, but he did get his money.
He's getting all his money. Yeah, good for him.
You want to do like 9 minutes on the Brian Kelly LSU lawsuit, or do you want to talk about football like normal humans?
No, but we could spend 30 seconds on Brian Kelly's son on senior day last week, running up to the camera and saying, "Free my boy BK," about his dad.
He's grounded, right? Don't call me my boy on camera.
I hope one day my son on national television calls me his boy.
I don't know. Should we make a rule that your son can't walk on under you? Like it's not good for anybody. What's the point? Yeah. Just let him go play college football somewhere. So let him walk on free with one of your friends. We don't have to do this. Also at 3:30.
Problem there, Brian Kelly doesn't have any friends.
Has no friends. What's Brian Kelly's coaching tree? It's like, hey, Marcus, my boy really is good at football and wants to play. Can he come walk on at Notre Dame? Vanderbilt at Tennessee is number 14. Vanderbilt at number 19, Tennessee. Tennessee at home is minus 2.5. Another 3:30 kick. Vanderbilt's 9-2. Tennessee's 8-3. The 120th time they are playing. 6 straight wins in the series for Tennessee. Vanderbilt's last win was in 2018. Vanderbilt really wants to get this win because they haven't beaten their rival in a while, and Tennessee has kind of dominated the series overall over a century plus. But also, like, if Vanderbilt wins, they are in the catbird seat, probably like maybe the second or third team, not the number 1 team up if there's chaos, but absolutely has a chance at the playoff if they get maybe like 2 results that go their way if they beat Tennessee. But they got to beat Tennessee, and Tennessee just wants to screw it up for Vandy. So I think this is a good one. I'll have my eyeball on this one too.
No, I think it'll be fun. Both these teams have played games that have gotten a little loose, and I think this one probably will too. Tennessee's another SEC team that has like 9 wins and has played nobody good. So, and Vanderbilt has, and like looked pretty competent at times. I think it's high scoring, but I'm picking Vanderbilt to win 45-42.
Oh, man. Okay. 45-42 Vandy. I'll take 37-31 Tennessee. Okay. So I think Tennessee actually covers the number. All right. Let's go to Northwestern at Illinois. This is at 7:30. Illinois at home is minus 6.5. Northwestern 6-5. Illinois 7-4. The 119th meeting here. Illinois has won 3 of the last 4, including last year. Before that, Northwestern had won 6 in a row. I'm disappointed in Illinois. Like we have kind of not talked about them for a long time.
More disappointed than Illinois than Minnesota.
Yeah, right? I thought they were going to go 11-1. I thought they were like a real playoff contender, and they've just been like okay. And they don't really have a good win. Like they got their doors blown off by Indiana. They lost to Ohio State, but then they went and lost to Wisconsin last week. They just haven't done anything special with the team that was like, hey, we're bringing back Luke Altmaier and we're bringing back the entire offensive line. And they've had some defensive injuries, right? That matters. But like they found a receiver. It was like, how are you going to replace Pat Bryant? And Hank Beatty's been great. And they had some pieces there. And like we talked about it, in October when we were breaking down Ohio State, Illinois, their whole offensive line was back, but it was, okay, this offensive line is back, but it needs to make a jump. And I don't think it made a jump. And I think this has been a below average year. And I thought Brett Bielema would get more out of this. And I don't know, like this, they were building to something based off last year. And I think they kind of went all in to make this happen. And it didn't come close to happening. And that's really disappointing for Illinois. This is, if we're running through like teams that we actually care about who had the most disappointing season, this is up there. Like obviously Penn State, but this is up there.
Yeah, I think it's up there. Yeah, and I don't know what I'd pinpoint as like for the reason. I think defense probably not exactly where it needs to be. But like I thought like Luke Altmaier was playing really well. Maybe just like the rest of the offensive line. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, bummer. Because they're going to lose a lot of guys too. They're kind of an old team.
Yeah, it's going to be a reset. And so like, what is that going to mean? And it's like, it really is an opportunity lost. And so this is a rivalry game. But I don't know. Northwestern's got a little juice.
Northwestern, one of the teams that's done a good job of exceeding expectations, right?
100%.
6-5, win total of 3.5 coming into the year. I think they gave Michigan everything they could. Probably should have won that game. They've had a really good season. We thought we were
talking about the idea of like, what if David Braun doesn't have a good year, where they want a new coach going into the new stadium, and instead they've really rallied around David Braun. Preston Stone, rough early opening week loss to Tulane. He was throwing it to the other team for a while, and he's kind of stopped doing that. Griffin Wilde's like a real number one. They found some guys in the backfield. Some real toughness, like some toughness on the offensive line, some playmaking dudes on the defensive side of the ball. And like, this is like a good football team, and it's a 6.5-point game. I'm not sure right now. Are we sure that this isn't the way they've played football? If you take away all preseason expectations, are we sure that Northwestern's not a better football team than Illinois right now based on how they use their talent?
Yeah. I'm certainly not. I think Northwestern very well could be the better team right now.
I'll take Northwestern 26-24.
I am also taking Northwestern 24-21.
Okay. So they get 6.5, and we'll both take them to win. Let's go do the Iron Bowl. Nick Saban says it doesn't matter who wins this game because nobody cares. Number 10, Alabama at Auburn. 7:30 at night. Auburn is getting 5.5 at home. Auburn's 5-6, and they fired their coach. Alabama is 9-2. This is the 90th Iron Bowl. Alabama has won 5 straight. As you noted, Nick Saban, who was saying that Ohio State fans were psychotic for worrying so much about the Michigan rivalry. What matters is national championships. He was 12-5 against Auburn, so he was good in his rivalry game, but he wasn't as dominant as he was winning 6 national titles. And we've already explained it if you missed it. Was that a Substack show, though? Oh, on the Substack show, I called Nick Saban an ass 6 times and told him to get bent sideways. If you guys want to go see that on the Substack channel. Bill and Doug OSU. BillandDougOSU.substack.com. Bama's going to lose. So what do you think about this game, other than that Bama's going to lose?
I think Ty Simpson's been getting a little loose with it. And so let's look in the last 4 games: South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois. He's fumbled 3 times, and passing wise in the last 4 games, he has thrown 3 interceptions, including 2 last week against Eastern Illinois. And he has 5, 6, 7 turnover worthy plays. I said earlier in the show that Arch was like top 10 among FBS or Power 4 quarterbacks over the last like month or so. Ty Simpson is 42nd in overall PFF grade. So I think he's going to throw the ball to Auburn. Auburn, which has a pretty good defense. Hate to give DJ Durkin credit, but they have a good defense. I think Auburn wins too. 2017.
I'll take 27-23 Auburn. So just sometimes if you believe hard enough and your heart is pure, wondrous things can happen. wondrous things can happen, like Alabama losing. And then that will be Kalen DeBoer's final game because he'll probably leave before the bowl game to go to State College to be the offensive coordinator for W.C. Sweeney at Penn State. I think the combo,
staff. I like that.
The combo is what people don't see coming. All right, the last one that we didn't really have to pick this, but I want to pick it because I'm going to pick the upset. SMU at Cal. It's at 8:00 at night. They call this the old Bookworm Mustang Showdown. The old, this is we used to give out Corvettes in the parking lot and Cal's in the library. Showdown. This is what college football is all about. SMU and Cal and one for the ages here in Berkeley, California. And SMU doesn't even know how to get here. They had to use Waze, and then their phone died. SMU's 8-3. If they win, they're in the ACC championship game, and then they're gonna maybe play Virginia. And I don't think Virginia's that good, and then SMU could be back in the playoff game.
Back in the playoff again, yeah.
When people said let's make a 12-team playoff, and let's bet on SMU being there each of the first 2 years. I don't know if that's what we saw. Nothing against SMU. I watched them in their playoff game against Penn State last season when they went to Happy Valley and stunk on ice. So whatever. But lose to Cal, and we can end this conversation. Cal is 6-5. SMU is 8-3. Give me the Cal quarterback. Give me his name again because I can never say it.
Jaron Kiave Sangapulatele.
Let's go. That guy can just help us get at least something different from the ACC. I'm not saying something good, but something different. So let's get SMU out. No offense to the Mustangs.
I would prefer that as well, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because what we have not said yet is that Cal fired its coach this week.
Yeah, I know, but
Wilcox is out. Ron Rivera, is he the interim? By the way, is Ron Rivera the interim? No, it's a Nick Rolovich. I think Nick Rolovich.
Oh, okay.
They have Nick Rolovich and Brian Harsin on their staff, two highly likable guys.
For real?
One of them is the interim. I can't remember which one. It doesn't matter. SMU is going to win 35-13.
35-13. SMU.
Haven't watched a second of either of these teams this year.
I choose not to. I'm going to scoreboard watch. I'm probably going to go to bed. 30-24 Cal. I'm just betting on the QB because the QB, by the way, if you're looking for QBs in the transfer portal market, that guy's going to be getting some. So people don't know that's a 5-star guy who was he committed to somewhere before Oregon, or was he just committed to Oregon?
He was committed to Cal, flipped to Oregon, enrolled at Oregon, and then left immediately after enrolling.
But he's a 5-star guy, and he won the job as a true freshman. And when he's on, it is awesome. But he's a young guy. Again, it's just here we are again. There's just 8 true freshman quarterbacks that matter in college football, and this guy's one of them. And so to do this in a late night game on the West Coast, excuse me, and kind of change the playoff picture potentially. And this is one of those. If Pitt beats Miami and then they can all sit around and root for Cal to beat SMU, they'll have cameras in there. Everybody can be in Nardog's man cave in the basement, hanging out. Maybe we'll go over Pitt trying to get to the ACC title game. That's what I'm here for. That can Cal do it for the Pitt Panthers? So I will take the fact that Cal will do it. 30-24 Cal.
What if the mystery candidate for Penn State is Pat Narduzzi?
Oh my God, bring that every day. Let's do that. Off the radar, and then Rich Rod can take the Pitt job. Okay, so happy Thanksgiving. We're just talking ball. There's a lot of stuff on the feed. There's a 2-hour big game breakdown for Ohio State Michigan on the feed. There's a 2-hour show about how fans are feeling about the Michigan game on our Substack page. How Ohio State fans are feeling about the Michigan game. We talked about the playoff on Tuesday night. You guys know what we do here. Have a great Thanksgiving with friends and family. Subscribe, tell a friend about the Bill and Doug Show. Maybe bring it up over Thanksgiving dinner in an awkward way that nobody knows what the heck you're talking about. And then we will see you after the Ohio State game for an Ohio State-Michigan postgame show. And then we're going to be in the conference championship week and talking about a lot of fun stuff there. So we're always grateful that you guys allow us to hang out and talk ball with you. Happy Thanksgiving. For now, he's Bill Landis. I'm Doug Lesmerises, and that was the Bill and Doug Show.